Good morning, loves. Welcome back to Life Adventures with Michelle. Today I'm going to be taking you on another adventure. I am traveling back to North Georgia for a funeral. My Aunt Carol passed away. I appreciate all of your love and support and prayers. This morning I'm going to be driving back to Georgia, as I said, right along with me. I'm in a contemplative state, and so Trent Shelton seemed to be what I needed to listen to first thing this morning. Here is real-time travel.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm gonna jump right into this one, man, and I'm probably gonna catch some heat for this, but y'all know me, man. Like, I ain't living for people's approval. I'm living to do God's work. The work that He's called me to do. And I just want to start off by saying this. This is very indifferent, unpopular, especially in today's times. And I'm sure most people will take this out of context, but that's why I'm gonna give context around it. But I want to say this: being mentally tough is overrated. In a world that we're living in now, where everybody's telling you to be mentally tough, right? Do all these crazy things. Run through the brick wall. If you don't run through the brick wall, you're not mentally tough, right? There's a fine line between being mentally tough, mentally smart, and mentally dumb. And I'm going to just talk about mentally tough in the world's perspective of what everybody's preaching and talking about these days. Like, if you quit, you're a quitter, and you're not tough, you're not this or you're not that. Let me tell you something. Too many times we ignore what our soul needs, what our body needs, what our mind needs, what our spirit needs, because we want to be deemed as being mentally tough. And oftentimes the people who portray to be mentally tough on the outside, a lot of times are internally weak. And this isn't the case for everybody. So don't start getting in your feelings, because I believe I'm a mentally tough person. But I'm going to talk about what I mean and what I mean by it. Growing up in sports, they always tell you to be mentally tough. And life is the same way. But in sports, I remember being at Baylor. I remember summertime workouts, 115-degree heat, and Waco, Texas felt like 150-degree heat. And my hamstring was killing me. As a runner, as a sprinter, your hamstrings are everything. So my hamstring was sore. I wanted to sit out. I wanted to tell the coach I couldn't go today, the trainer, hey, I'm out, my strength coach. But I already knew if I said that, I will be deemed as being weak. I will be deemed as not being tough. And in football, that's like the most disrespectful thing you can tell a player. And so even when you're injured in sports, I don't know if it's changed yet, but they make you feel like an outcast. I know at Baylor, they used to put this red cross jersey over you. And it's kind of like if you're hurt, you kind of can't be around the guys. And so nobody wanted to be injured. And so what a lot of people did is they pushed through. And there's times in life, a part of being mentally tough is pushing through certain things, right? Is being emotional resilient. I agree with that. But in this case, I wasn't being smart. My hamstring was sore. It was hurting, but I wanted to go out there and do it anyway, because I wanted to prove to everybody else, have that pride that I'm tough. So we go run these 110s, and we run 10 of them. The first 4, my leg was killing me, but you know what? I'm going to push through anyway. We get to 5. I come out 20 yards. I already feel it. My hamstring is screaming, telling me to stop. What do? I want to be mentally tough, so I keep going. I keep pushing through the pain. I keep pushing through the hurt. 20 yards later, pow. No, it wasn't a sniper. It looked like a sniper, but my hamstring popped. I fell flat on my face. I was out for about 3 or 4 months. It took me probably half a year to fully recover from that injury, all because I wanted to be what the world views mentally tough, right? I wasn't being mentally smart, because mentally smart would have told me, you're hurt, recover, you're hurt, go to the trainer, you're hurt, rest, you're hurt, go to rehab. But a lot of times in life, just like me in sports, we ignore our hurt and we end up being injured. Mentally tough in this world today tells us, stay in this situation. Even though this situation is bad for your life, stay in it, push through it. Even though this situation is injuring your heart, injuring your soul, injuring your mind, stay in it. And what happens? We stay in it, and then we become not just hurt, but injured. And sometimes we become retired out of that game of life because we've been injured so bad that we don't want to get back in. And so I want to tell you right now, listening to this episode, you hear the sound of my voice. What the world deems as mentally tough right now in this world of everybody telling you to do all these crazy things, I'm going to tell you what my grandmother told me. Everything ain't for everybody. Just because there's people out there running 300-mile races don't mean you need to run. Just because there's people that ain't taking no rest, no days off, 24/7, 365, that ain't mentally tough. Maybe that's what they need. And there's seasons where you got to sacrifice. There's seasons where you got to show up every single day. But there's also seasons when you got to recover. There's also seasons where you got to rest. You see, you're in position. And what I mean by this is you're in position of external expectations. If you're a person listening to this episode right now and you have some type of responsibility outside of yourself, whether you are a leader, whether you are a mom or a dad, etc., an influencer online, you have a community that you're responsible for. You have external expectations placed upon your life. You have responsibilities outside of yourself. You have people dependent on you. And what happens a lot of times when we're in these positions, we ignore what our soul needs to please the world. We ignore what our soul needs to please everybody else. And we result in living a unfulfilled, burnt out, tired life. We ignore when our body is telling us to rest. We ignore when our mind and our soul is telling us to recover, and we keep going because we want to look strong to people who could probably care less about you anyway. We want to look strong on social media. We want to look like we have it all together because we want to be mentally tough. But a lot of us are portraying mentally tough when we're actually mentally drained. You see, there's a point in life when pushing through your breakthrough is necessary. But there also is a point in life when pushing through isn't meant for you. Because pushing through is going to lead you stress. Pushing through is going to lead you to depression. Because you're ignoring the signs that are telling you to slow down. You're ignoring the signs that are telling you not anymore. You're ignoring the signs that are telling you to stop. The truth of the matter is, I believe it takes more mental toughness to stop than sometimes it takes to keep going. The truth of the matter is, to me, it takes more mental toughness to say I need help, to act like you don't need none. To me, it takes more mental toughness to say, I'm taking this day off, this week off, this month off, this season off, than to say, oh, I'm taking no days off. The life that you're currently living mentally, I want to ask you this question. Is it going to lead you to a more mentally tougher you in the world's eyes of what people consider mentally tough? Or is it going to lead you to a mentally drain you? A you that's suffering inside. A you that's maybe getting 6 hours of sleep. You probably ain't even getting that, but you still wake up and you still feel tired because your soul is fighting throughout the night. Because you're not giving your soul the attention that it needs. You're not giving your soul the recovery that it needs. You're not understanding that inner peace is the new success. You see, this world has us fooled. This world makes us want to put up picture perfect false realities to please people, to impress people, to make people happy that will even never be for our happiness or won't be there in our darkest hours. But yet, we still want to portray a false light to a world because we don't want to be deemed as mentally weak. We don't want to be deemed as somebody who isn't tough. Somebody who can't push through. As a person that's been a victim of that myself, I want to tell you right now, being mentally smart is being mentally tough. Being mentally aware is being mentally tough. Being mentally responsible is being mentally tough. And I talk about responsibility of saying, you know what? I can no longer be a part of this. I'm not going to continue to push through when I know pushing through will lead me to a injured life. Pushing through will lead me to a more empty life, not a more fulfilled life. You see, the brick wall that's in front of you isn't always meant for you to run through that brick wall. Sometimes that brick wall is there to tell you to stop. Sometimes that obstacle is there, and I'm not saying all the time. Sometimes that obstacle is there to tell you, you know what, this ain't the right way for you. Sometimes it's there, right, as a challenge. I get that. But the more mentally aware you are, then you know in your journey what's meant for you, what's not meant for you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, every battle ain't meant for you to fight. We think that, oh, I can't retreat. I have to fight this battle. And so many of us, we use so much energy fighting battles that's not ours anyway. So many of us, we use so much energy fighting battles that's not meant for our life. Some battles aren't meant for you to fight. Some battles are not yours. Some battles are the Lord's. Some battles are for other people. Some things come in your life just to distract you, but you want to be so prideful and so mentally tough that you want to keep going. And you end up wasting your energy. You end up being drained. You end up spending time on things that don't bring you life, but drain your life. You spend time on things that don't bring you peace, but bring you pain. You see, I'm more into a place now in my life that I don't feel guilty for surrendering to my peace. I don't feel guilty for surrendering to the things that I know I need for my life, even if the world doesn't understand it. So when I'm taking a break from a social media, even when the world doesn't understand it, I know what I need for my life. You see, so many of us, we keep going because we think that that's the way. Because we look on social media, we see these people post things like they're robots, when you don't know what they're dealing with offline. But we keep going because we want to compare our lives to them. Let me tell you something about life. Life is individualized. It doesn't mean that we only focus on the individual, but it's individualized. What's for you isn't for them. What's for them isn't for you. Everything, as Grandma said, isn't for everybody. And once you realize that, life becomes a little bit more beautiful. Life becomes a little bit more peaceful. Life becomes a little bit more enjoyable, because what's the point of doing all the things if all the things means you can't enjoy your life? What's the point of doing all the things if doing all the things means you're losing yourself? What's the point of being the person everybody looks up to when you don't even love yourself? What's the point of having all the likes in the world if you don't even love yourself? What's the point of having all the fame in the world if you don't even feel that you're worthy inside? You see, we've been lied to. We've been lied to say, oh, it's things in the world that matters. No, what matters is what you're giving yourself. What matters is your internal peace. Because I tell you this, and I told you before, and I'll tell you again, everything means nothing without peace. Everything means nothing without peace. But nothing means everything with peace. What do I mean by that? I mean that you can have all the things in the world and still not enjoy your life. I mean that you can have none of the things that people say you need to have, and you can still love your life.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
I want you to think right now. Are you living in exhaustion? Are you living and being tired all the time and burnt out? And I know some things we can't break free from. I get it. I know it's some seasons that we gotta push through. But I think it's more strength in knowing when to be still. It takes more strength to knowing when to be still. I ask my yoga people, when you got to hold a pose, it takes more strength to knowing when to be still than it is to just keep going when you know you shouldn't be going. You know, being mentally aware, being mentally responsible, being mentally smart, which means being mentally tough, means that some of you listening to this episode right now is that you're spending so much time trying to create a title in the world. You're spending so much time trying to achieve things in the world. And I'm not saying that you don't want to achieve stuff, but just make sure it's pure. Make sure it's what you want. Make sure you're not doing things to impress people outside of yourself. Because so many of us, we live for the world. We live for the world. If you want to post something, you think about before you post it, are they going to like it? You living for the world. If you want to do something with your life, you think about, man, will they approve of it? You're living for the world. I don't care if you say, I don't care about people's opinions. I don't care about this. If you always have a blocker that says, man, I want to do this, but I'm not going to do it because of some other people, you're living for the world. And I see it. I asked this question on my Instagram today. I said, since COVID, how many of you are dealing with mental health issues? Like, has it got better? Has it got worse? Obviously, people said it got worse. You know why? Because some of us are not taking time to give our soul what it needs. Some of us have fell into the trap of what the world deems right now in this space of being, the social media world, being mentally tough, meaning that you got to do all these crazy things and you can't take rest and you can't take a break. Rest is for the wise. Rest is for the smart. Rest is for the aware. See, some of us, we're so wrapped up into what the world thinks that we ignore what we truly know and what we need. Some of us are spending our whole lives creating a living. We think that's being mentally tough. We work 24/7, and I understand we got to provide. I understand there's certain things where you have to. But some of us, it's not a have to, it's a want to. It's an addiction. And we never take time to enjoy our lives. We never take time to create experiences and memories with our children, with our family, with those that we love. We don't take time to do the things we want to do with the things that we love, because the things that we want to do, like maybe going outside and throwing a Frisbee around, or maybe going just for a walk, or maybe just doing some fun stuff, maybe playing softball again, maybe just doing some exciting things in your life that ain't cool to everybody else or don't bring in revenue like certain things. And we don't do those things because those things aren't what the world praises, right? So many of us, we spend our whole lives just creating a living, impressing people, that we forget to live. We forget about the most important things, the things that truly matter. We forget about our world. We forget about those that we love. We work so much and we don't have time for our kids. And I understand there's seasons where you got to work, but sometimes we ain't got to work. We're just choosing to do it because we want more and more and more and more and more. We don't know how to say enough. We don't know how to say stop. And before we know it, our kids are growing up and we don't have a relationship. We don't have a connection. And we wish we could turn back the hands of time, but we can't. We can't. So I want to make this episode, man, to make you more mentally aware. Don't feel like you got to work out every single day and do all these things and, work around the clock and, get up at 2 a.m. in the morning if that ain't you. There's times where that might be you. There's times where that's me, where I'm getting it. But I understand I'm going to listen to what my body needs. My body tells me to rest. It takes more strength to rest than it does to actually not rest in that situation for me. Don't get caught up on the social media hype, in this world's hype, because I'm going to tell you right now, some people are selling you a dream that they ain't living. Some people might be so damn mentally tough and doing all the things except the things that truly matter behind the scenes. What's the point of being the toughest person in the world if you don't have a relationship with your kids? Right? What's the point of having all the money in the world if you don't even look in the mirror? You look in the mirror, you don't even like who you see. So today's episode isn't telling you don't be mentally tough. It's to change your perspective around that word. Because most people are living today being mentally dumb. And I hate to use that word, but it's true. They literally are driving themselves into a grave. They're driving themselves into a grave, living for other people, impressing other people, and feeling validation for this no awareness mindset. There's times where you got to push through outside your comfort zone to grow you. Right? There's times where you got to expand your limits and push through your limits. But there are also times when you got to stop. There's times when you got to say, this ain't right now. There's times where you got to say, you know what, I got to disconnect so I can connect to the things that really matter in my life. That's what I want for you. You know, I want you to have peace in soul, peace of mind, so you can experience this peace on earth as best as you can. That's what I want for you. I don't care about the external successes. I don't care about the accolade. I don't care about those things because I know those things aren't enough. I care about helping you with those silent battles that me and you face. That's what I care about. Because I know when you're internally fulfilled, when you have peace internally, life becomes a lot more beautiful. And life becomes a lot more clear. It's hard to live in clarity when you have so much confusion clouding your life. So being mentally tough, what people preach about to me is overrated. But if we talk about being mentally tough as being mentally aware, being mentally responsible, and being mentally smart, then yeah, that's the new mental toughness. I love you. I appreciate you. You know, share this with somebody who needs it. Share this with somebody who is just going like they the Energizer Bunny. But what the Energizer Bunny didn't show, maybe they did, I forgot the commercial, but what they didn't show is those batteries run out. Yeah, those batteries run out. And you got to put new batteries in, but those batteries run out. Give yourself the time, the attention that you need. Understand what you need. And stop being a prisoner and a victim to external expectations. Because you'll never feel internal peace by chasing those things. Like I tell you in every single episode, it all starts with you. It's rehab time. Let's get it. Share this if you feel this. Hit me up on Instagram if it spoke to your heart. Share it, tag me, do all the things. But I want you to really understand what I'm saying in this, all right? I know some people are going to get some backlash and like, no, I'm mentally tough. Don't be the football Trent that's injured, that's hurt, and still pushing through because I'm trying to prove a point to everybody else and I get injured because I want to be mentally tough, all right? I was mentally dumb at that point, and that set me back that season. Free yourself. Let's get it. Straight up.
Okay, guys, so I got a Trent cold brew with 4 sugar-free vanilla, 2 stevia, and I just poured my own creamer in there because they're heavy-handed at Starbucks, and I like my coffee to taste like coffee, so that is going to be the drink, Trent cold brew. It's not on the menu, so you have to know that part, right? Let me get this lid back on. And then I got the bacon egg bites. The bacon egg bites. So that is going to be breakfast on the road, and I'm going to get back at it. So you guys, I'll see you next clip. If you don't know, at this particular point right here, these 2 lanes towards Atlanta, you better get your aggressive driving on because you're never going to make it through this city without it. So here we go to Georgia.